Fam, what's up? Alabama, Texas week. It's finally here. What's going on? Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. The College Football Super Bowl is here, right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Take your calls in a minute. Got 5 to watch up on the top. We'll take your calls later on in the show. I'm going to give you 5 to watch and X factors for this game. It's a big one. The magnitude is a lot larger than the coaches are leading you on to believe, in my opinion. I think that the magnitude of this game is monumental for many different reasons. And it's not only because you have a former disciple from the coaching tree of Nick Saban. I think that one of these two teams gained some serious momentum and takes it forward throughout the rest of the college football season. While the loser of this game can certainly rebound, I think that winning this game is a marquee game. Everybody's going to be talking about this game. Everybody's going to be here. Everybody's going to be watching this game with the microscope. And I get it. It's only week 2 of the college football season, but everybody is going to be wanting to see how good Texas is. It's a measuring stick, of course. Has Steve Sarkisian brought Texas to the elite level? And has Coach Saban maintained Alabama at an elite level after losing the first-round draft pick in the NFL, Bryce Young, and losing the third-round pick in William Anderson? Can Coach Saban get it done? It's going to be primetime, ESPN, 6 o'clock on Saturday. I'll be there. My boy Toby's going to be up there. He already texted me. He's like, can't wait to see you. Week 2. I'm like, Toby, I got you, man. All right, so let's get into this right now, and then I'm going to take your calls. Call line is at the bottom of the screen. Call line not open just yet. Here are my X factors for this weekend's game. 5 to watch. You got Jalen Milroe. I think Milroe has to have another solid game, clearly. We expect that. Well, what does a solid game mean? I think for Jalen Milroe, that means limit turnovers. No turnovers would be amazing. And do your thing. You don't have to be anybody that you're not. We want Jalen Milroe to be authentic. If he needs to run, run. If you want to hit the deep ball and continue to showcase that ability, do your thing. I think that the tight ends are going to play a very big role in this game. And I'll talk about that with my X factors in just a minute. But these are 5 to watch. And I think Milroe, if he comes out and he plays consistent and he doesn't have to go for these big home run type plays, moving the football down the field, I think is going to be critical on this first, second, third drive of the game. What's up? Always believe in Alabama. I appreciate you. Yeah, 90,000 subscribers. Pretty amazing. Deontay Lawson. Talked with Jeff Ketchum from Orange Bloods today, and he said that interior offensive line from Texas can be suspect. Says they have to prove themselves, and I guess we'll have to see. Deontay Lawson coming up the middle along with Q Robinson. I think those guys are going to be marquee in a game like this. I think they are going to play an instrumental role. And in my X factors, you'll understand why. Deontay Lawson is a big-time player, and I don't think he's even reached the ceiling. I don't even think we have seen the potential and really the ceiling of Deontay Lawson. NFL-type player for sure. The inside linebacker spot, if he can come with it and have a monumental game, he's going to help Alabama win this one. Amari Niblack, welcome to the show. Saw a little taste last game against Middle. Now, in a marquee game like this, how can Tommy Rees utilize Amari Niblack in a game like this? Motions, misdirections, create opportunities over the top of the safeties, whatever you're going to do. Get Amari Niblack the football in a game like this. Can he be an X factor? Can he be a player that can play at this elite level? Can he be an NFL type player? You are going to need NFL type players in this game, 100%. Kool-Aid, JaQuincy McKinstry. I think Kool-Aid is going to be a player that not necessarily Texas goes after, but I think McKinstry is going to be a player that has to rise up and create plays, not only at the corner position. Let's say he goes against Xavier Worthy. Today, Coach Saban said that Xavier Worthy is one of the best wide receivers in college football. Can you disagree with that? Might be one of top 2, maybe the best. But I think that Kool-Aid is one of the best DBs in college football. He's a first-round guy, 100%. Not only does Kool-Aid have to do his thing at corner, but I think special teams. Look, Kool-Aid has been so close to breaking one of these punts, taking one of the outs. Can you imagine if he's able to have a punt return in a game of this magnitude? Bryant Denny will blow up. So I think Kool-Aid playing aggressive. Hey, Quentin, what's up? I see you in the comment box. You had 3 PIs last night. Look, you can't get beat. You cannot get beat. You have to play aggressive. And same goes for Terran Arnold. Same goes for Terran Arnold on the opposite side of the ball. Dropped an injury report earlier today about Malachi Moore and Jalen Key. Coach Saban said that they are practicing, but he doesn't know in terms of being 100% how close they are to 100%. Jahia Campbell, we're also going to see him at the inside linebacker spot. But with Devontae Smith out, and let's say that Key isn't 100%, let's say that Malachi's not 100%, that is going to weigh onto the secondary. My 5th player to watch, Will Reichard. Yeah, the all-time leading scorer in Alabama history. You need to be able to get into the red zone, and if you can't punch it into the end zone, then you can rest your hands in Will Reichard. Dropped another commercial, man. This guy's a NIL money-making machine. Did you see that? His head was shaved kind of partly. I'd never seen him look like that. Must have been in the summertime. Will Reichard. Who helped Alabama win that game last year? Will Reichard. Right? Quentin, you saw his commercial, right? I saw it too. Yeah, it was fire. Him and that dude going back and forth. You got to watch it. Will Reichard is certainly one of the players to watch. All-time leading scorer in Alabama history. That's so crazy. He's going to continue to tack on more points this year. He's got to come with it. He will come with it. He's seasoned. He's a veteran. He's kicked millions of times here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Marquee players to watch. Okay. These are some X factors. I got a caller in the call queue. Get to you in just a second. Here are X factors for this game. Let me size that up correctly. All right, let's look at this. So I think when you look at the X factors, just bring it full screen. Why not? The atmosphere. The atmosphere has to be electric in a game like this. No sleepy, like Alabama's going to do their thing. No. Like these players deserve to have your full attention. You need to be standing, cheering. You need to make this a hostile environment as much as possible. I promise you that last year's game between Alabama and Texas was more challenging for Alabama because of the atmosphere in Austin. 100%. And I think that if Bryant-Denny Stadium, and it can get loud, that 2019 game against Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers, that game was loud. Loudest I've ever heard Bryant-Denny Stadium, and I expect it to be even louder on Saturday against Texas. 100%. And I think the fans knew that. And Coach Saban even talked about that today, that it makes it more challenging for Texas offense to make calls at the line. Honestly, it really does. It plays such a huge factor into a game like this. If Quinn can't get his audibles out to his offensive line, to his wide receivers, that is going to create problems for Texas offense, especially pre-snap. Pass rush. You have to get to Quinn. And I think if Alabama is able to establish a pass rush for 4 quarters, Alabama wins this football game. I think it really comes down to that. Alabama wins this game if they can get to Quinn more than 4 times. If they're able to get pressure, and look, Sark's going to be ready for it. He's going to have misdirections. They're going to be getting the ball out as fast as possible. But I think pass rush has to be monumental in this game for Alabama. The secondary, what that's going to do is if you get heat on Quinn, then the secondary has to be aggressive, and you have to have one of these game changers step up and make a interception, create a turnover. A turnover in this game is going to be huge. The stadium's going to erupt. It's going to be one of those mini earthquakes that we feel. I promise you, if there's some sort of hit on Quinn, there's an interception return for a touchdown, that could be game over. I'm telling you, that is going to be huge. Pass rush, secondary, aggressive, create plays. Another X factor, of course, Jalen Milroe. He doesn't need to fit into any sort of box other than just being him, going out there and just playing to his level. I love his demeanor. Love his demeanor. He's humble. intelligent, modest, talks about team first type guy. I think he's one of the best interviews that we've had in quite some time. I get it. William Anderson is up there. But Jalen Milroe, that's the type of guy that you want. And he knows that he wasn't perfect in last game, and he knows that he's got to improve, and he knows that all eyes are on him. But look, stay locked in. Just go do your thing. He comes out. He plays to his potential. That's another reason Alabama wins this game. Additional X factors. Take your calls in just a second. Tommy Reese. All right, Tommy, welcome to the show. You're here. 31 years old or 30 years old, whatever. You're getting that big paycheck, $2.5 million. Welcome to the show. Do your thing. Be creative in a game like this with a quarterback that clearly proves that he can throw the football downfield. Let's see some of these wide receivers get in open space, and let's utilize these tight ends. And let's put points in the end zone. Yeah, field goals are okay. Touchdowns are preferred inside the red zone. Get creative. Get Danny Lewis a touchdown. Get Amari Niblock open. Get the running backs going. Tommy Reese, welcome to the show, all right? You're out there, you're hanging out, you're watching, whatever. Like, welcome to the show. You are responsible for making this offense go. You know that. You have a lot of playmakers. Let's see what you can do. All eyes on you, Tommy Reese. You're an X factor. Will Riker once again. This game's tight. Imagine if Will Riker isn't here and we're going to a game like this. Special teams don't. Like, if you're out there, the game is much more than offense and defense. So special teams matters. Don't forget about it. Alabama has some of the best special teams players in the entire country. Will Reichert is one of them, if not the best. Kool-Aid, one of the best. Spring a special teams touchdown, special teams field goals, extra points, all that is going to be needed to beat Texas. With that said, I have the lineup on the header. Alabama's 6.5-point favorite. We need to update it because the line is slid. Alabama now favored by more than a touchdown. Actually, 7.5. Call line now open. We'll take our first callers. Fam, you know what I need from you guys tonight? Need you guys to hit thumbs up. Need you guys to subscribe. We hit 90,000. We're not done. We need to fill up this Bryant-Denny Stadium. 100,000 subscribers. I want you guys to hit the thumbs up. And I need 200 thumbs up on this video. 200. That's the goal. That's it. 200. With that said, let's get it going. And our first caller, we'll go to him right now. Got an 806. Let's get it. How you on the line with Kyle Henderson? Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Yo, Kyle. My name is Brent, calling from Texas. Just wanted to let you know I've been watching you the last couple of weeks. Just really appreciate seeing you on Orange Bloods. I don't know if you've been enjoying being with Catch and Chad. It's been nice seeing the updates that you got on your show. We got a house divided in my house today. I got an 11-year-old son that's a Bama fan, and he's been begging me to call you. So here I am calling you. He's getting to see it on my TV right now. We just wanted to say what's up, and hope it's a good game this weekend, man.
What's your son's name?
His name's Paxton.
Paxton, what's up, man? This is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate the support. Make sure your dad hits that subscribe button. We appreciate your support. And, tomorrow I'm leading a group here in Tuscaloosa. We're working out. One of the things that we do is mentorship. So I want you to go out there and continue to be a good person, good student. Listen to your dad. Brent, give me a score prediction on this game between Alabama and Texas.
Well, this morning we did a prediction between me and him, and I said 28-21 Texas, and him being the Bama fan, he said, what'd you say, 37-28 Bama? That's what he said. All right.
So those scores are kind of similar to mine. I was talking with Orange Bloods and Catch earlier today, and I think I actually posted two scores. So I had Alabama 31, Texas 24, and then I could also see it being a lot of points, although the over-under, so the over-under means the total points between both teams. I think it's like 54 or something like that. So I would take the over. I could see somehow if Texas starts rolling, it becomes a street fight. Who knows? I just think there's so many elite players on the offensive side of this particular game that you could get up there. So I appreciate your score prediction. Brent, I was going through kind of my X factors in this game. For Texas to win this game, what do you think an X factor would have to be?
The guys in Orange Bloods did it, and my pick is, I think, is Jordan Whittington. Just a straight player. I think that obviously the eyes are going to be on Xavier Worthy. I think they'll have a little attention on A.D. Mitchell. I do, but as a player, I think as a player, Jordan Whittington is going to get forgot about. But I do fall in line with everyone else. I do believe it's which offensive line is going to crumble first, and I think it's to be seen. I think Texas's defense is really good. Mm-hmm. I think Alabama's defense is really good. Mm-hmm. I think people saw. I really want to say this because it gets talked about too much. I think people saw the score of that Texas and Rice game and are seeing the score and not seeing what really happened in the stat book. Mm-hmm. The stats were not close, man. It wasn't even close. Mm-hmm. That was Texas' best defensive game in like 7 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was never close. So I do believe their defense is going to be able to withstand. It's just the crowd in Alabama. I do believe, like you said, I do believe it's going to be insane. So, I mean, and for Alabama, I believe that there is no pressure on their shoulders. I don't believe that there is. Mm-hmm. We've been watching Alabama for a long time, and everybody's saying Bama's falling off. They're not superior. They're not in the national championship, but they're still winning 10 games every year, and they're still kicking the crap out of everybody every year. So they're still good. Yeah. They're still Bama. But the deal is I think the pressure's on Texas. I think Texas knows the pressure's on Texas. And I do believe, like you said earlier today, I do believe if they can find a way to pull it off in Alabama, I do believe that the sky is going to just go a mile higher for the Longhorns. I do believe.
All right, Brent. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you calling in. Paxton, thank you very much for watching. I know you're an Alabama fan. Your dad's a Texas fan. You guys make sure and enjoy that special time on Saturday. Brent, anytime you want to call in, I know you're from Texas, man, but feel free to call in after on the post game or on Sunday or whatever. But appreciate your call, man, and we'll catch up to you soon.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, see you.
Thank you. I don't know if you...
Yeah, I heard him. All right, thanks, Paxton. Take it easy, buddy. All right, call online. We got a line open, 205-850-1994. We got a 470 and a 205 inside the comment box. Call Q. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching tonight. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Alabama versus Texas this Saturday, September 9th, 6 p.m. TV, ESPN. Alabama favored by, I need to update that, 7.5 now going in this game. We talked about X factors. We talked about players to watch. Clearly, Bryant-Denny Stadium has to come with it on Saturday, just as that crowd in Austin last season. When you call in, I want a score prediction. I want some X factors. We go right back to the phone lines, 470. Let's get it. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where you calling in from?
Hey, it's Andrew from Douglasville again. Thanks for having me back on, man. I missed the last couple shows. So give me a second to touch on the Middle Tennessee game. I was very impressed with how Alabama did. I think 56-7. Yeah, we could have, maybe done 60 to 70 points. But you know how Nick Saban is. He's just not about that. But offensively, we did really good. Special teams, defense. I was very impressed with the defense. I don't want to speak too soon, but we could be back to like the 2009, 2010 defense. Even up to 2020, our defense was really good. I don't want to speak too soon because it was Middle Tennessee. But, I think Alabama, if we show up and play like we did against Middle Tennessee, I don't think we're going to have a problem against Texas. I could see Alabama winning realistically, like 41 to like 14 or something. If Alabama plays like we did against Middle Tennessee, I don't think, and especially it's at Alabama too, I don't think Texas offense, I don't know if they're going to be able to put up more than 2 or 3 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns against the Alabama defense. I mean, our defense, just the physicality they brought was just amazing. Like I said, it's back to the old days, potentially. I don't want to speak too soon, but, it was really excited. I think some X factors for Alabama is going to be Jalen Milroe. Can he make the passes like he did against Middle Tennessee? Can he run like he did against Middle Tennessee? And then our defense, if our defense can bring the physicality they brought against Middle Tennessee, we can shut down Texas's offense and maybe get some picks, maybe get some pick sixes, some fumbles for some touchdowns, stuff like that. And we can just blow these guys away because Alabama really needs to cement our dominance. And I think we started that against Middle Tennessee. I think we can finish submitting our dominance against Texas, man. So I'm really excited to see what happens this weekend.
On the line with Andrew from Douglasville. Appreciate you calling in. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Texas is here. The College Football Super Bowl moves to Tuscaloosa, Alabama this Saturday, September 9th, 6 p.m. TV as ESPN. You got College Game Day. You got Pat McAfee. You got Late Kick. You got all the big dogs coming to Tuscaloosa. But remember, when they're gone, I'm still going to be here because this is where I stand, here in beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Andrew, I think you bring up a great point when you talk about the Texas-Alabama matchup, because can you imagine if Alabama is able to send a big message about their defense in week 2 against such a high caliber offense coming into Tuscaloosa? Number one, that would give Alabama fans so much appreciation for the defense coming back. They would be so thankful to Kevin Steele, who's in his first year back as the Alabama defensive coordinator. Alabama's defense has been a staple to these national championship teams. The game as college football has clearly evolved into these offensive high potency teams. But with that said, that doesn't discount any of the defenses. There's still defense that can be impactful. And I think that's why it comes down to, I want to see how healthy this secondary is going in, because clearly Texas has a lot of weapons. And I think that the pass rush, like I said in my earlier segment of the show, they come with it. They're able to win this game. I think they do win this game with that pass rush. Now, if they can't get to the quarterback and Quinn is able to be efficient throughout the game and the game is close, that's what's going to be tough to pull out. That's when the game goes either way. So when you're looking at Quinn and coming in, he's excited about this game. Last season he feels that if he plays that game, Texas wins that game. We went back and forth on that a bunch of times. He was knocked out last year, doesn't equal this year, but he didn't get to play the entire time. So he's looking forward to this game. He's got some major weapons. The Sanders guy, number 0 for them, is a monster at the tight end position. And of course, they got 2 very imposing wide receivers. Get something else in, Andrew, before I move to my next caller.
Honestly, for Texas to win this game, they have to keep up with Alabama the whole ball game. If they do not keep up with Alabama the whole ball game, if they fall off the wagon in the fourth quarter, they're not going to win. If for Texas to win, they have to. The QB really has to be on his game. They got to make the catches. They cannot be dropping passes, and they have to play physical for all 4 quarters of that ball game, or they will not beat Alabama. When a team beats Alabama, they were able to compete. So as long as Alabama does what Alabama does, and we shut down this team early, we kill the momentum, and we take away their ability to compete, Alabama's going to win this ball game.
Andrew, I appreciate the call from Douglasville. Please call in anytime. We got a seat at the table for you, man. Take it easy.
Will do, man. Thank you.
All right. Roll Tide to you, buddy. We got a 205, a 910, and a 502 inside the call queue. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. 184 on. Let's get 184 thumbs up. Trying to get for 200 on this video. So when you call in, I want X factor for this game. I want a score prediction. I don't think we got a score prediction from Andrew. Andrew, you're watching. Put your score prediction inside the comment box. We go back to the phone lines. 205. We start right now. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
What? I'm Tommy from Leeds, Alabama. You talked to me the other night, man. Remember we was talking about Middle Tennessee game?
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling back. Phone lines are hot, man. Brother. Phone lines are hot. Go ahead, man.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you my prediction. All right. You might not like this. I say Bama 49, Texas 10.
Say that again.
49-10, Alabama.
Wow. And Andrew was saying that I think he had a score very similar to you.
Yeah, my X factor is going to be Jalen Monroe. He's going to throw the ball deep. He's going to try to go downfield and get the X factor receivers open like what's that number 3 for Alabama?
Jermaine Burton.
Jermaine Burton, and he's going to get Anah Black open. Mm-hmm. He's going to throw them really deep and they're going to try to spread all the receivers out and make sure the defense don't get back there to our quarterback. And our kicker's going to do a lot. And Kool-Aid's going to get some picks, I see.
Yeah, I think Kool-Aid comes with it this game. What do you think about, it seems to me that Texas fans, I mean, from the people that I talked to, and a couple of Texas fans have called in, they seem, like they have a real shot at this game. I mean, do you feel that, kind of them coming to Bryant-Denny State, I don't think they anticipate or know, how good this team could be. And again, it's only been one game, but do you feel that they're kind of been a little bit overconfident?
Oh yeah, they're being a little bit overconfident, Kyle. I'm gonna tell you this right now, man. They come to Bryant-Denny, it's gonna be rocking, bro.
Do you feel that most Texas fans feel that they, kind of almost like a moral victory last season?
Yeah. I say they did, but you know what, man? I think this team right here, like everybody's trying to say, I think this is gonna be like the 2009 when we beat. What was that year we beat Texas? When they had Colt McCoy in the national championship game. What was it? What year was that? Was that like 12?
Something like that. Someone posted inside the comment box. Look, this team, like the thing. Look, Tommy, we're on the line with Tommy from Leeds. The thing about this team that I love is they're like the Lenk mentality. Let a naysayer know, because it was 2009. I appreciate you guys. Because look, this team is still laying in the weeds, and people still don't appreciate. It's like they're like, okay, this team has had the number 1 recruiting class and number 2, whatever. It's like they've kind of like fallen off, or you can play with them. So let a naysayer know I love the mentality. And look, this team is excited to have a game like this at Bryant-Denny. And if they are able to go by your score, 42-10, can you imagine what that would do to the college football world? You imagine? People would be like, "Oh, coach, yeah." I mean, it would, the college football world would collapse, because I don't think a lot of people, feel that Alabama's going to blow out Texas, but back-to-back callers do. So, I don't know. Maybe that would be amazing if Alabama just comes and puts the wood to them.
I was going to get off here, roll time, and I'm going to watch the game from my sister and her husband's house Saturday night. I ain't going to be at Bryant-Denny, so I'm going to watch it on TV.
Well, we'll all be watching it with you. Anything else, Tommy, while we got you on the line?
No, man. I just want to see the defense show out, man, for me Saturday night, Bryant-Denny. I want to see that crowd get electric.
Yeah, me too. It has to. They're going to. I mean, they will.
Right,
it's capable to get louder. Hey, I appreciate it, Tommy. You enjoy the game, man. We'll catch up with you soon.
You welcome. All right, roll tide.
All right, roll tide to you. All right, so let's put Tommy down as 42-10, and his X factor was a stadium. All right, we got a 910-502, and call-in line is opened up. I could have like 10 call-in lines, but I have to pay for each line, and then I have to pay for the amount of time someone's on hold, right? So this is a business. Otherwise, I just have 10 lines and let you guys all wait. But time is money, literally on the call-in show. All right. 910, let's get it.
Kyle, man.
Hey, what's up? Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
My name is John. I'm calling from Jacksonville, North Carolina.
John from Jacksonville, North Carolina. Let's get it. What's on your mind, man?
All right, now you want a score prediction.
Yes.
I'm loving where everybody's head is at. I just don't think the spread's going to be that big, but it's going to be a blowout. I'm talking like 42 or 45-17.
Wow.
Like Alabama is going to – they got something to show. And I'm right in line with everybody else saying that crowd's going to be a huge factor because that's why Stark said, oh, this is just like another game at Kansas or whatever the hell he said. But he's trying to ease his players into this game. This is not going to be an easy atmosphere to play. The worst place they play is what, Baylor, Texas Tech? Man, Brian Denny's a whole different creature. My X factors for the game, though, I got offense, defense, I got a dark horse. I want that dark horse to pan out. I've been telling everybody that Jalen Milroe is going to be the starting quarterback from like a month ago. Mm-hmm. I put bets on it, and I won like $6,000. So my dark horse on offense, though, is not going to be Jalen because Jalen's going to do his thing regardless.
Okay.
On offense, it's going to be number 7. I can't even think of his name. Save my life.
Number 7 is Ja'Cory Brooks.
Had it in my brain. Ja'Cory Brooks, yeah. See, he didn't even start against Middle Tennessee. He came in, he did his thing towards the end. That's one of his number one targets. Remember, he went down to Florida with him, and they built a bond and timing. Mm-hmm. They're going to be nasty this weekend.
I see where you're going with that. I like that. Okay.
On
what
defense,
else?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, them boys are going to be raw this week. On defense, it's going to be our edge rushers and our linebackers. Now, watch Law. Law is going to be that sleeper knockout punch. I don't care how many receivers that Quinn got out there to run and catch everything. He's not going to have time to get it to him. Mm-hmm. That's where it's going to set up in the back. Downs is going to be a ball hog this weekend. He's going to switch everything Quinn thinks he's going to try and hope that his guys is going to get to. Because, man, that boy plays sideline to sideline. Yeah. He is raw. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's
my one sleeper horse or my one. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I can't wait to hear this. But there's a photo floating around. I think Alabama Football, like the official account, posted it of Caleb Downs, and he looks like he's in the NFL already. And look, no disrespect to Minka because people are like, oh, he's like similar to Minka. They're completely different body style. Like Minka was more slender.
Yeah,
like
the mentality though.
Yeah. So. Because Minka was, sharp. That dude was so articulate, so bright. It was just a baller. Caleb Downs, we haven't been able to speak to him yet. It's hard to talk to freshmen here, but the guy's an absolute beast. Okay, get to your sleeper. This is good. I like your list, so I'm curious to hear your dark horse.
My dark horse, and I've been telling people this since spring. I'm trying to tell you, that boy Malik Benson is going to be disgusting. There's got to be in the nation that can, if you don't give him a 15-yard bumper or buffer, he's going to burn you. I'm talking like a simple fade route. He's going to burn you to the point where now you have to cheat that safety over. You cheat that safety over, how is your linebacker going to spy Jalen? Because you have to spy him all game.
Yeah,
but you can't do that once that safety has to cheat over.
And I like this take because two things. Number one, Alabama didn't show much of anything last week in regards to Ja'Cory Brooks. Like you said, he didn't even play for like a suspension or whatever, and then it didn't really even go to him that much in week 1. So what do we know about him? And then Malik Benson, same thing. And I think it's in design. And I think Coach Saban has really done a good job playing poker, right, during the fall camp and going into this game.
He's playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers.
And tonight he was asked, they were like, well, Sark knows you. And, are you worried about that? And he's like, well, Sark may know me, but I know Sark too. And it's true. They know the different tendencies. And you're not looking to last year to what they did overall, but there are some tendencies. And Coach Saban did talk about that during today's SEC teleconference. Geez, I feel like I've been awake for years. I have been awake for years. I wake up at 5 this morning and now I'm thinking about the SEC teleconference like it was yesterday, but that was just today. And he was talking about kind of the tendencies and he talks about it tonight again. So he knows Sark, but this is the thing about Sark. Sark is for real. Like, he's an absolutely incredible coach. Offensive mind. And Coach Saban said even tonight, and I don't think he was blowing smoke. Like, he was like, he's probably one of the best coaches we've had around here from the offensive standpoint, period. I agree with that. He did a great job. Shoot, he won a natty with a loaded team too. I mean, that team was filthy.
That's the thing. You gave him keys to a Ferrari, and
for real, and he drove it.
Gonna fail?
He drove it. He drove it fast.
Yeah,
okay. All right,
but
John.
Here's real quick. Here's the difference and the problem with that, because I saw you talking with the Bama boys on 24/7 as well, or the Texas boys.
Okay,
they're worried about their own offensive line and everything.
Yeah,
there is a reason that Nick Saban was very vanilla in his play calling, because he's not going to give them a chance to build up and get ready for this. Stark's a great offensive mind, but we have a great defensive mind and a great defensive team that's going to pound them into turf.
Yeah. Yeah, that Alabama pass rush. I was telling them today, if you saw the interview, I'm not just saying this. Like, Dallas Turner looks, we all know about him. Quinn knows about him. Brazo was a lot better in game one than because I've kind of seen him and I'm like, I wanted to see kind of some tape on him to or actually a game for him to start going. And I was impressed. And then Q was like flying through on stunts at the quarterback. I mean, those guys are coming for sure. Deontay Lawson right up the middle at the inside linebacker position, followed by Q Rob. They're putting pressure on you. I promise you. John, I got to move to my next caller, man. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much. I love the score prediction. I love your dark horse picks. Malik Benson, Ja'Cory Brooks. You came with it, man. Appreciate it, and we'll catch up with you soon.
I got you, brother.
All right. That was John calling up in North Carolina. Got a 502, a 404, and the call-in line has just opened up. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Keith Holcomb. Is this the real Keith Holcomb? Keith Holcomb, what I remember about Keith Holcomb, he was an incredible baseball player here at Alabama and also one hell of an inside linebacker. Believe he was out of Hillcrest High School. Hillcrest plays North Ridge on Friday. Game that is highlighted as the game of the week here in Tuscaloosa. I'll be there checking it out. We go back to the phone lines and 502, let's get it. All right, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, this is Mike from Kentucky. What's up, Kyle?
Mike from Kentucky. Appreciate you calling in. As always, the big one is here. Everybody's coming to beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Today I heard that the Capstone, right? Hotel Capstone, which, by the way, has one of the most underrated lunches in the city. It's like $11.50, and it's old school. It's like that salad from the country, and they got your bacon bits and your okra, and they got the old school ranch, and then they have a soup bar as well. Hotel Capstone rooms going for like $3,000 right now. Hotel Capstone. Yeah, so everybody's coming to Tuscaloosa. Mike from Kentucky, man. What's on your mind, man? Take it away.
Hey, for $3,000 a room, I think I'll sleep in my truck, brother.
Well, we're here, Mike. So,
bro,
go ahead.
I think Texas was sleepwalking. I think they were looking ahead last week. That's why they look like they look. I think they're going to show up ready. They got dudes on the O-line. I mean, I think they were looking ahead, and college boys will do that from time to time. I think this game's going to be a little closer, than our former callers predict. But, I really like their enthusiasm, and I enjoyed their calls, especially John. I see this game about 24-34 Bama. But to me, Kyle, the key to this game is who wins the battle of down and distance.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know as well as I do, and all your callers are well-educated football fans. Down and distance determines what kind of defense you can call. If it's second and short, you can't send the linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the key to the game is whoever's going to win the most first downs is probably going to win this game. I ain't selling Texas short, man. That's a big state, and it's very, very, very wealthy in high school football talent. They got dudes. They do. What do you think?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, today inside the comment box, I was talking about Texas and Alabama in one of my previews, and someone was like, he believes in Texas more than the Texas guys do. I do. Honestly, I think this team is good. I think they're coming in, and last year they were good. This year they should be much better. And I think that measuring stick and kind of knowing that they can play with Alabama, that's probably their mentality, and that's a lot of people's mentality. Texas was picked to win the Big 12. Those weapons on the offensive side are dangerous, and Coach Saban said tonight that their defense is pretty good too. Their edge rushers are going to present some challenges for Alabama. Yeah, I think this Texas team is for real. Now, am I picking them to win the game at Bryant-Denny Stadium? Absolutely not, but the teams that have given Alabama fits last year were teams that could throw the football effectively, right? LSU, they threw the ball all around the place. They didn't run the football. And what did Tennessee do? They threw the football. They threw a touchdown pass to one guy 5 different times. I was talking about that on the show, like 5 times. And Jalen Hyatt, yeah, guy's a baller for sure. I think Xavier Worthy is better than him. So have a game plan so that you don't get beat over the top, because this guy, even though he wasn't efficient in week 1 throwing down the field, I promise you, he can throw it down the field just fine. So get pressure on him. Kool-Aid come with it. Caleb Downs, I'm curious to see how he's going to fare in a game like this when the bullets start flying. And, it's a big show for a freshman. But sometimes those freshmen are able to rise up to the occasion. Otherwise, they wouldn't put him in that situation to begin with. Keith Holcomb in the comment box asked if we're going to see Keon Keeley come with it. He's the outside linebacker, 5-star. I don't know. I would assume that he does get playing time sooner than later just because he is that dynamic. But yeah, Mike, I'm with you, man. I think this Texas team is coming with it. These scores are 42-10. People are excited, and I think Alabama wants to challenge and show what they're capable of. But I think it's going to be tight.
I'd spread them out and make sure Milroe has the option to run. I tell you the truth, I think Texas is going to try and run the ball down our throats. I mean, their offensive line, I know preseason polls don't really mean nothing, but their O-line was ranked top 5 nationally. And they've got their big tailback went to the NFL last year, but they got a kid that's 230 pounds that really don't go down that much after first contact. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to try and run the ball down our throats right off the back. And then if we pull everybody in too tight, then they're going to try and silence the crowd. This game ain't going to be easy, bro. No, but I think we can win. Yep. I'm picking Bama by 10. I think that's a realistic, number. 24-34 is mine. My prediction, Kyle. Okay. Y'all have a good night. I want to get off, so I know you got a lot of people wanting to talk to you, man. Roll Tide, everybody. Roll
Tide to you. All right. That was Mike in Kentucky. He has Alabama 34, Texas 24. All right. Okay, we got an announcement. Okay, just got a text in from my boy Toby. And so if you missed Toby, Toby's from Leeds, and he's one of the biggest Alabama football fans. I saw him week 1 and posted a video about it. Took a picture together. Great guy. So Toby has just texted me his score prediction, and Toby has it 38 Alabama, 17 Texas. So Toby, and he says, roll Tide roll. Hey, Toby, thank you so much for calling in, man. Appreciate it. Or texting in. 38-17 is Toby's score. So let's make sure and notate that. Okay. Back to the phone lines. 404. Let's get it. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. Good evening. It's Al from behind enemy lines in Georgia.
I appreciate it, man. What'd you say your first name was? I'm sorry. I forgot. I missed it.
Al from
behind
enemy lines in Georgia.
Man, it's got to be tough, man, because Georgia. Yeah. Who's Georgia playing right now? They're playing like Ball State this weekend. Is that what they're playing, right?
Ball State this weekend. They got another scrimmage game, Kyle. Come on.
Back-to-back scrimmages. All right, Al. Al from Georgia coming in from behind enemy lines, and I know David's trying to get in from Louisiana. So you guys stay safe. What's on your mind, man, as we turn the page to week 2?
Yeah, loving the show. Look, just a couple of things here. I'll get to my X factors before I get into something else. But one of the things, my X factor really is Seth right in the middle. Okay. The only reason I say that is that, one of the things I think Texas really is going to try to do is just kind of push the middle of the pocket, keep Milroe in the pocket. Don't give him an escape lane. They just force him to stay in the pocket. I think they're really tough in the middle with their 1 and 3 technique. So I think that if we could protect Seth and probably play to our strength, and run the damn ball, we're gonna do that for certain off tackle. To just try to widen them out in the middle a little bit, to slow them down in the middle, just so we can get our play action going. I think we're gonna do that. That's one of my expectations. Seth McLaughlin. He plays well. If Seth plays well, and he can keep the pocket from being pushed in the middle of our guard, I think it'll open up our passing game. It'll give Milroe some escape lanes when they do pressure him to get out, escape out the left or the right. Another thing too, another X factor. Jason McClellan. Not so much in the running game, but in the passing game. I think it's going to take the pressure off Milroe if we can get our backs one-on-one in flat with their linebackers. I think that we're gonna open this thing up. I think the guy from Kentucky said we got to spread them out a little bit, but you got to do it in a different way. We're not a spread team. We're gonna hit them in the damn mouth. We're gonna run the damn ball, but it's got to be a way to do it. And the last X factor I have is our defensive line. Okay, we got to turn the script on them and push the pocket in the middle, so that the Ewers, he's not the most mobile guy, so we can squeeze him a little bit and get his feet going to get happy. So that's going to give us some defensive turnovers. We're going to win a defensive turnover game. I think we're going to show up and get some defensive scores, and that's going to set the tone for this defense for the rest of the year to say, yeah, we're those dudes again. And so I think that's the pressure. We're going to keep pressurized on them all the time from the defensive side of the game. But my score prediction is 33-17. I think we score late to push it that way. It's going to be a close game, but I just like to see us be effective in the middle on both sides of the ball. That's linebackers in the middle, centers in the middle. Safety's got to come up big this weekend. And Herb Street said that Texas didn't show everything last week. I got news. We didn't show everything either.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's my thing. My strategy is to keep them from pushing the pocket, so Milroe can get some escape lanes. If we can protect Seth, if Seth plays well, man, we're gonna play well. I'll tell you, he's the key.
On the line with Al from Georgia. Yeah, I think this Alabama offensive line, and you're right, like we didn't see too much from Alabama, didn't have to show too much. And the things that we saw, we have a right to be critical on, I guess the run game and kind of that lack of the push from the offensive line. But I want to see more of a sample size from the offensive line. I want to see them be tested, not only in pass pro, but I want to see them be able to run the ball specifically in the red zone. Like I want to see what this team can do with all that size. If it's 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line, what are you going to do? And that comes down to the offensive line, but it also comes down to Tommy Rees because you have some weapons back there. And that's when you go to that H-back setting with Robbie Oots, right? Yeah. And you got, Danny Lewis back there. Can you imagine Robbie Oots and C.J. Dupree and Amari Niblack on the same, right, in some sort of like heavy formation package?
I'm telling you, Kyle, look, man, we're so set up this year with our tackles. That's the strength of our offensive line. These guys are so huge. With these tight ends we got, I mean, I'm just going to tell you, man, if we pressure that edge off the edge, their 1 to 3 technique going to have to slide some. They're going to have to start to compensate. Yep. And what this going to do is going to open the middle up. So we got to pound the edges, do some RPO zone reads, keep that linebacker on the backside there so they can, because Milroe is a threat. They have got the game plan for him the whole game. So if we're attacking the edges, that's essentially the run game. That's essentially spreading the field. The safety, you're going to drop the safety down. They got to do a 3D coverage kind of thing. It's going to open up some passing lanes. So they're going to play coverage. I don't think they're going to play man too tough. They're going to play coverage to make Milroe sit there and go through the reads and try to press it to the pocket. That's why I said they have to keep the pocket. The guards have to keep the pocket from getting Milroe space. And that's our strategy. I'm telling you, if we do that, if we execute it up the middle, promise you, we control the middle of the field, we win the game, period, in the story.
Yeah.
game over. It's a wrap. 33-17, we win.
And I like that, Al. So
Roll damn
like,
tide.
if you have your offensive line set, right, and people are coming off the edge and they're crashing the edge and they're using their best players to try to get around the edge, well, what's going to open up is the middle of the field. And you happen to have one of the fastest quarterbacks in the country right there. So, Jalen Miller, do your thing. Stay in the pocket when you need to, but don't just be authentic, man. Just go out and do your thing.
Be you.
Just be you, man.
Be that guy.
You don't need to be any of these other quarterbacks that are playing in the NFL. You need to be you, period. Al, great call.
Take your check down. Yeah, take your check down. Get our backs in open space. Let them go. We got some talent, man. And I'm just telling you, this team is freaking stacked. Our boys are focused. Texas is going to come good. I mean, they look good. Okay, but one thing, and I'll let you go, Kyle. One thing's been my experience in this game a long time. When you have a game like this, either it's very close or it's a blowout.
Yeah. No, I think
Very close to blowout.
I think you're right. And if you've seen kind of the calls, like that's kind of been the vibe. I mean, I've been on the close side, but most of the Alabama fans have been like, "Hey, come on, Texas," and they're ready. I mean, they're believing in this team. I mean, even 33-17 is a large margin to me.
Yeah, I think you kind of see something like what happened with LSU, man. They eventually caved and FSU scored at the end. I think we're looking at that kind of game. It'll be closer than you think, but then the score at the end of it looked like Bama beat them by 2 touchdowns.
Sure. Yeah. Kind of Pick 6 to the house or something like that by like Christian Story. Something like that, right? Yeah. It's going to be someone like that rises up. Yeah, that we haven't been talking about. That would be dope. We haven't talked about Christian Story in like the secondary, and then he comes back with like a pick 6. Man, it's definitely going to happen. You know what would blow up the fan base? Is if Earl Little got a pick 6. People have been craving for that young man to get some quality playing time. Earl Little. These are under our these are our sleeper X factors. Earl Little, Christian Story.
I'm waiting for the next Eddie Jackson to emerge in our secondary to just be taking it just give me that and take it to the house. I'm waiting for that next Eddie Jackson. Everybody talks about Minka.
Shoot. Okay. Coach Smook in the comment box is saying, or Tony Mitchell. Can you imagine? All these guys can't go, and Tony Mitchell goes in and takes it to the house. Yeah, that would be crazy. Oh, that's a good one, Coach Smook. Hey, Al, I got to move to my next caller, man, but I appreciate you calling, man.
Thanks for taking the call, Al. We'll be up. Coach Smook, y'all be good. We'll catch y'all in the road time.
Right, take it easy, man. Yeah. All right, Al calling in from Georgia.
All right.
Got an 805 and a 423 in there. Can you imagine if Tony Mitchell got a pick 6 or something like that? Man, stadium would just disintegrate. That's crazy. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. You can become a fan funder by hitting the join button on this video or at the bottom of this video. Works better if you're on a desktop. Venmo if you want to send in a tip. Bama_YouTube. Super chats greatly appreciated. Appreciate all the support. This is what I do for a full time. This is, my job. This is my livelihood. And I appreciate you guys being here all the time. All the videos, thumbs up, certainly go a long way as well. 261 in the chat, 261 thumbs up. Let's get it. We go back to the phone lines, 850. Let's go right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from? Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
I'm Calvin from Brooksville, Florida.
Calvin, did you say?
Hold on real quick.
Okay. All right. I think it was Calvin from Florida. We waiting on you, Calvin.
Yes, sir.
All right, Calvin, take it away, man. Go ahead. Welcome to the show. First time caller.
Hey,
first time callers got to tell us their height and weight.
6'2", 300 pounds.
Ding! All right, there we go. Go ahead, man. Take it away.
So I think everybody's kind of judging the Alabama offense on a weird schedule or scale right now. We have a really bomb defense right now. So I think everything that you saw in the spring game is against a lot better defense than anybody's going to see over the whole entire SEC schedule.
Go ahead, Calvin. Continue. I'm listening.
So I just think everybody thinking our offense might have been like behind the mark, even in like the quarterback stance.
Mm-hmm.
I think against a normal defense, against most of the defenses that we're going to face in the SEC, even probably might be a little bit outdated. I think our defense is going to be really good this year.
And that's what
So I think our offense is probably.
Yeah, and that's what Alabama fans want to see. We're on with Calvin calling in from Florida. Alabama fans, look, everybody knows that the game has changed. But with that said, it's like open field tackling, creating turnovers, getting pressure on the quarterback. That hasn't changed. That hasn't changed in the NFL. That hasn't changed in junior high. Those are simplistic aspects of defense that people want to see, that they're accustomed to, that they deserve with the talent that Alabama has. And I think I'm with you too. Like the pass rush that I saw, and I get it. Like you couldn't even pass rush middle because they got the football out so fast. Literally, it's snap it, get it out. But in a game like this, where you have to rely on your pocket protection to get to your wide receivers, I think Alabama's going to showcase their pass rushing abilities come Saturday. And I think that is going to be monumental for this game. And I think they're going to be able to do this throughout the season. Why? Because they have more than just Dallas Turner and Chris Broswell and Q Robinson. They got Keon Keeley. They got Yanzi Pierre. They got Quay Russo. There's so many guys at the edge rushing position that can get heat on the quarterback. Their interior linebackers, I think, are deeper than we know. Jahad Campbell, he's going to play this weekend. Want to see how he does in his first game of the season. Deontay Lawson's an absolute baller. Trez Marshall, the guy's right there as well. I think he's going to, do something at some point. I mean, the season just started. So my point is that the linebackers, I'm starting to feel really confident about them. And, still want to see more from Jaheim Otis. Not to say that we didn't see, much from him, but he was playing at the defensive end position. How about that? So, we're still mixing and matching, but yeah, go ahead, Calvin.
Oh, it's so difficult with this team, and nobody really realizes that Middle Tennessee is kind of all or bust type team, where they were sending blitzes left and right. They were doing short passes because that's what their defense is. They're so used to people rushing in, 7 bodies at a time, that they're not the normal team. It's kind of like Alabama a few years ago when they had to play the option team, where it was, you're like, Alabama's a way better team. But this is a hard offense to have to randomly face when you're facing like these, 5 wide, we're going to throw it to the best person.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You're right.
It was just a weird team.
Those option teams that you have to play are the worst. Who was it? You guys remember that game a couple years ago against the Citadel? And they were running the triple option, and like people were just straight, like it's not that they were lost. It's just like you don't see that. And I think they posted up like a drive that was like 16 plays or something like that. And you go, it's like you don't. And I guess from a scheduling perspective, you have to stay away from that because those games are just it's terrible. You don't really get too much out of it because you're never gonna. Unless I guess you played like an old school Georgia Tech or whoever still runs the option. But whatever. Anything else, Calvin? While I got you on the line.
That's all, man. Glad to hear it. Love to hear your show.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks, Calvin. Appreciate you calling in from Florida. 423 and 804 inside the call queue. Let's just go right to the 423. Let's start right now. Hey, you're calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. Love your show. This is Curtis from Georgia.
Hey, Curtis. Thank you very much for calling. I appreciate you taking the time to call in. I know you're behind enemy lines unless you're a Georgia fan. But anyways.
Oh, Lord, no.
we welcome everybody to the show. So what's on your mind?
Yeah. I turned 53 last Saturday, and I've been an Alabama fan for about 45 years. So,
all right. Well, you know what? I think another thing that we might have to do is because like part of my group, when I work out in the morning, there's these guys who are in their 50s. And they're absolute beasts. And when you say your name and 50, you get respect because, you're tenured, you've gone through, BS in your life, and, you're at a good point. So respect to you, Curtis. Go ahead. Take it away.
I'm not too far from Alabama line anyway. But anyway, you expressed on a couple of points I've been listening to on your show. The biggest thing, I think there's two things. Like our offensive line. I've never seen a line. These are not kids. These are grown men. And, they are just impose their will. And the second thing is the defense. Like, Sark, he does the eye candy. If they stay disciplined, and the pass rushers that we have now that I seen in the game last week, there is no way they should just rough Quentin Ewers up right off the bat. Those two things that I see right there that the players we have, I don't think there's no trouble at all.
Yeah, this I strongly feel that one big hit on Quinn is going to set the tone. Like, you get to him early. If I'm Kevin Steele, that's in my game plan 100%. And I'm sure it's in his. He's making 2.5 or whatever. It might even be like 2.7. But you're like, all right, objective number one, take Quinn out. Not in like a disrespectful way, like not hurting him, but I'm saying like go after him, put heat on him. Like, get to the quarterback, Absolutely. Period. Like, you have to, because what that is going to do is that is going to set the tone in the okay, an offensive big play is going to get people fired up, but it's going to light that stadium on fire. A defensive play, whether that's a huge sack or a pick, that stadium will never quiet down, and that has to happen from the get-go. And if that happens in the first quarter, Alabama, like some of our fans that have called in, they probably run away with it. That's how impactful a big defensive play will be in a game like this.
Absolutely. Like I said, you take him out. Them games last year, especially the Tennessee game, where they was letting White run down the field. That was it's hard to watch. Like Kevin Steele. Kevin Steele's he's the real deal. That last year, couldn't make the adjustments to put somebody on to cover him. That should have never happened. And the defense that I seen Saturday is like the players were playing free. They were excited to be there. And I know if I can see it, other people can see it too. And that's all I got to say. I will be down there at the game Saturday. Me and my son will be there. So
love
good luck and roll tide.
Roll tide to you, buddy. All right. That was Curtis calling in from behind enemy lines. We got another text in from Toby. Because I texted him back. I was like, what are your X factors? So this is Toby's X factor. And he says, the offensive line and the D line, trenches. We are going to be ready for Texas. We have the best coach in SEC and Nick Saban. Let's run the damn ball. Yeah. Look, you got to run the football too. Last week it was awesome because I get it. It wasn't the running game that we wanted to see. But it was such a small sample size. And now these games are quicker with all those commercials or whatever Coach Kiffin was complaining about, right? But even Richard Young was able to get in there. So you went from the top to bottom. Plus, wasn't it ironic that Alabama's quarterbacks were talking about them all season long and then all of them have a rushing touchdown, right? The only guy that didn't have a rushing touchdown was Dylan Lonergan and Eli Holstein. Guys that didn't play in that game. Keith Connell, I see you inside the comment box. He's saying roll tide from Alamo. Believe that's Alamogordo, New Mexico. Alamogordo Tigers, man. Been there many, many times. In fact, I used to drive from Las Cruces, New Mexico through White Sands Missile Range to Alamogordo for an all-subs burrito. You probably only know what that is. Anyways, we go back to the phone lines, and it's at 804. Let's get it now. Yo, what's up, man? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where you calling in from? And I know you need no introduction because it's Coach Smoke.
Kyle, you acting up tonight, man. You pumped up.
You know what? I'm having fun, man. Like today, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I'm just happy. I'm happy, man. Like I have a lot of gratitude for my life, for my job, for my kids. I'm happy, bro. So I'm having fun with it. So we made it, man. And it's like the college football season's here. It hasn't been 140 degrees in Tuscaloosa. There's a lot to be thankful for. So what's on your mind, Coach? I appreciate you calling in, man.
For sure, man. I always get in the chat, man, and they get me pumped up and get me riled up. We got a lot of knowledgeable fans when it comes to Alabama football.
100%.
I will say that,
100%.
especially in this chat. Especially in this chat, I say this is probably one of the more, I guess you could say,
knowledgeable,
fan friendly. Because we could have differences of opinions and see the point that everybody's trying to make. But man, look who's showing in the chat, man. Coach Sean from Huntsville. That's my bro, man. Hey Sean, you need to call in too, bro. Go ahead, get in the queue, bro. But yeah, man. Greg Witten from Phoenix City. Swear to God, I'm from Phoenix City, but my fault, y'all. But one of the things I wanted to touch on, man, and I guess the guy that texted Toby, he touched on it, and we talked about it on the show Monday night. The trenches being the matchup, man, the key matchup for us. I'm a guy. I love to rewatch games, and I go back and I'll watch a certain group for a half, and then watch another position group for another half. Then I watch the game again and watch another group. You know what I'm saying? Until I done watched the Middle Tennessee State game, maybe 5 times all the way through. And then the Texas game, Texas versus Rice game, I looked at the key play, the condensed version, maybe 3 or 4 times. And one thing that I'm noticing, man, Texas defensive line, they look ferocious, man. And after like the second time watching it, I was like, okay, I could see why. But then the third time I watched, I said, okay, let me go do some research. And I went and I looked, man. Rice does not have a offensive lineman that was a top 100 guy in their recruiting class on no level. First string, second string, and I think they only go 2 deep. They only have like 2. They're only 2 deep at their guard positions. The skill level is just totally different. And I'm not discrediting anything that Texas did, because those guys showed out up front. Their defensive front that they run, they have like a what we would call like our big ends. They run those tackles. They run tackles out there, and those guys are flexible, man. That you could put them. You could spread them to the edge. You could line them up over the top of tackles. You could line them in the 3 and the 5. So they're diverse. So and then they got solid linebackers behind them. So I think our trenches, especially between the guards, man. I mean, from Booker, we believe Booker is going to be solid, but he has a task on his hand with that defensive front, and in particular just the front 3. But I'm really concerned if we trot Dalcourt out there first. And I mean, I just don't see him being aggressive enough or physical enough to impose that early message of physicality. I know Seth McLaughlin can, but Seth McLaughlin, we need to see 2 drives of consistent snaps, man. We need to wonder, and I think maybe Jarek made the point. Maybe Seth is kind of like having bad snaps because he's having to overcompensate for, trying to make sure Dalcourt's covering his job, make sure but everybody got to do their job. But I think Ferguson give us the best chance, especially when you're talking about trying to establish the run game early. The best way you eliminate the threat of, a defensive line, getting penetration, pushing upfield so fast, you got to run at them. You got to go at them. You spread the ball, make them go sideline to sideline, but when you do run the ball, you don't try to stretch them from the backfield. You go at them, And so I'm really excited to see that matchup. I think with Ferguson in that lineup, we look a lot better than expected. I see a lot of people giving us crap for, the type of our offensive line. We played ourselves a lot of times. They were playing themselves out of a play, being too aggressive because the type of blitzes that they were getting. I'm almost probably like 75-80% sure that Dalcourt didn't expect to be getting those gap blitzes them first 4 plays that he was on the field, because it showed he was.
Oh, I know what happened. Give me one second, fam. I'll be right back. Put a hold on the screen. Give me 1 second. Be right back.
Host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface.
pressure on them. And I
Hey,
believe
Coach
good,
Smoot,
with
Coach.
good protection.
Coach, sorry, we lost you for 2 seconds. So rewind
my fault.
Rewind 45 seconds. Go ahead, rewind.
Yeah, I was talking about another key matchup. I'm sorry. Another key matchup was not Jermaine Burton, but the slots versus their experienced secondary. Especially like the interior guys, not the perimeter guys. I think we can kind of go toe for toe with them on the perimeter. But we want to. I think they're going to present some challenges early if we don't get good protection with their experience. They have a star, their free safety, and their backside corner, strong safety guy. Those guys are very experienced. All of their secondary, their starters in the secondary, are juniors or seniors, graduate transfers. So they got guys that have been playing a lot of football. So I'm excited to see how we can capitalize in the slot. I think this game we see a lot more middle of the field working the ball with the tight ends to get Jalen Milroe's eyes, comfortable downfield early. And then we start, trying to hit him over top. I see something that I think their defensive coordinator might key on. Jalen Milroe loves the deep out route. He loves because it's a deceptive ball, especially when you have timing with it. And a lot of times people are like, oh, if that was a better team, that's a pick. Nah, based off his drop back, you have like your standard 3-step, you have like a stutter 3-step, you have a delayed 3-step, you have a 5-step, you have a 5-step hitch. Like the way he was timing up his drops for those deep outs, not once was each drop back the same, but his footwork and his release and his follow through, everything, his mechanics following through to release the ball was still the same. So that tells me Jalen Milroe has been in the film room. He's been in the lab. He's been doing the work enough to where this thing is probably where it's just a part of him. It's a thing where it's consistency. Even when he picked up the ball that was snapped, the bobble snap or whatever, the bad snap. When he picked it up, Jalen Milroe's eyes, as soon as he got to secure the ball, his eyes went downfield. Mm-hmm. That's something you didn't see from Milroe last year. His thing was looking at the line and seeing who he got to juke. His eyes went downfield 1,000, 1,002 while pushing the line of scrimmage, and he made a play. And that's things you like to see when you're talking about a guy making the small changes. I'm not even excited about, the deep ball. Yes, I'm over it now. We've been on, he had a strong arm. The thing is, I want to see the consistency and that composure and that command of the offense. And if we could establish that dominance in the trenches early, we could hit them in the mouth in the trenches early on the offensive side. I think we can pull away, man. I'm talking about not a late third quarter, but like a third quarter explosion after, being ahead. But I don't see them coming back within 14 after the third quarter. If we come out and execute like I think we can, the amount of talent we have, the coordinators, the amount of energy they brought into Middle Tennessee State, they're going to be right back at home. Brian Denny's going to be rocking, man. Me and Sean love to talk about that stadium, man. And then also the running back protection. I already know you got to go, but running back protection is going to be key too. So y'all take it easy, man. Kyle, I got a question before I go.
Of course.
Hey, where you get your suits tailored at, bro?
So listen, I have a couple different jackets that I wear. I'm actually getting them dry cleaned tomorrow. And then what I do is I have a bunch of just white shirts that I rotate in the rotation for the shirts, because I just like to do the navy and the gray. And I might get a different pattern tone. I was already kind of eyeing some. So I might do that down the season, but we're trying to just slowly build it up. But I gotta dress up, man. Look good, play good. And
hey, me and Sean was on you the other day, man. We gotta start getting on here swaggy like Kyle, man. We gotta set the standard.
We got to gotta look dapper, man. I got the fade, I got the high fade today. I'm feeling good, man. This is Texas week, man. Look good, play good.
For sure.
All right, man.
All right, brother. Roll Tide, man.
All right, Roll Tide to you, man. All right, we got a 337-832 inside the call queue. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys calling in tonight. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. We've been dropping a ton of content. Still was like, we're dropping content. Yeah, the football season includes so much, and there's so much to track. And I try to do my best to deliver the content in a professional manner. I try to make sure that you guys have the best audio, that you guys have visuals, that you guys are able to get the information that you need, that I'm able to communicate with you guys in the community tab. And, honestly, what's amazing about the YouTube channel is I don't really have a big Twitter presence. I don't tweet my life away. I don't really say much. My personal Instagram, if you want, is Mr. Kyle Henderson. Post about my workouts, the messages, some of my kids. But this is all like Alabama football. And I try to put it at a very professional level for you guys. So I really appreciate the feedback. And I read through the comments. There's some things that, you guys like to see altered or whatever. Like, I take that into consideration. I'm not bigger than any of the comments that are posted. I read through them and I will get back to you guys. I do, make sure and like as many as I can, but I do take the feedback. So if you have feedback for the show or whatever, always open to it. Like I said, I'm just like you in the sense that, like, I watch the games. I'm doing the same type of stuff. No celebrity status. I know where I'm from. And, that's it. We go to our next caller. It's at 337. We get it going right now. Hey, I appreciate you being patient in the call queue. My name's Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
This is David from Louisiana.
I knew I knew it was going to come in at some point. Behind enemy lines. You made it. We got Mike in. We've got our friends from Georgia. Now they allowed you to make a phone call, man. So what's on your mind, man? We're here, man. Take it away.
Oh, the other night I watched that game. Oh, Lord. I know this is about Alabama, but I just got to talk a little smack real quick if there's any LSU fans in there. But I had to message all my LSU friends on Facebook, make sure, they were alive and okay. And, the next thing I see fire, Brian Kelly and this and that and the other. But anyways, that was a wonderful, that made my whole week right there. I told them y'all were going to get thumped. Y'all were just weak little team anyways. But anyways, other than that, I'm glad you're doing good. I know you probably got your boxers on underneath your tie down there. Nah, I'm just sticking with you. But one thing I need to see Alabama do is actually put pressure on Quinn Ewers. The DBs I noticed the other night against Middle Tennessee State on a couple occasions they had their backs turned. A lot of times whenever they're depending on the ball, instead of turning to look at the ball, playing, cautious, is the ball, am I going to get a pick or not? Scoring touchdowns, that's great. Do your little bump chest and give your teammates high fives and wave at the crowd. But this, I remember several years ago, they'd be throwing flags for making contact with the fans, when Burton ran up and was giving the fans high fives and stuff, unless they change the rules. I don't know. But that could be a penalty against us, excessive celebration, drive us back 15 yards and give them good field position. You don't want to do that against Texas. They're going to be a competitive team. They're going to be strong. They got a good offensive line. It's like they said, they're returning veteran quarterback, veteran offensive line. They got a veteran, pretty much veteran secondary. It's not going to be some easy game. It's really not. I got a question for you, though. Since they changed the clock rules, the clock will continue to run and all this stuff in the fourth quarter, last 2 minutes or whatever the game. Do you think over time, maybe down the future, that they will start trying to turn, since these guys are getting prepared to go to the next level and to the NFL? And I've wanted this to happen for a long time myself, is to change the rules from college rules strictly to NFL rules in college, where you intercept the ball, no contact, you slip, fall, whatever, you can get back up and take off running. I would love to see that. What's your thought on that? And my prediction for the score will be Alabama 38, Texas 26.
Okay. All right. 38-26. Write it down. Regarding the pro rules, I don't think that's such a bad idea, to be honest. I mean, these guys are going from, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Might as well alter it to kind of be all formatted, right? But then you kind of look at some of the intricacies from, the different rulings from college to pro, like, 1 foot in as compared to 2 feet, right? Like that matters. So how many touchdowns will be taken away, right? All the time. I kind of think that in the NFL, it should be 1 foot. But these guys are so amazing at that level. Like the 2 toe taps they blow my mind. It is worth something to think about. I know a lot of people are upset about the timing and kind of like the game being shrunk down a little bit. I want to see a couple more games to kind of make my opinion on it. But look, if, head coaches are already kind of griping about it, then I would assume that, it's affecting everybody. It'd probably be a good question for Coach Saban after this game or the next game to kind of get his sense after he's kind of had a small sample size of the season. Anything else why we have you on the line, David?
The last time, from my understanding, that Texas has played in Tuscaloosa or in Alabama against Alabama was 121 years ago. Think about that. For how long it's been since Texas could just jump a couple states over and come and play the greatest team that's ever graced this great country, and that's the University of Alabama. So they're going to get a taste of it. If I was the president also of the University of Alabama, I would put the fans and the band on the outside with a big projector screen up with last year's game on it, and they can watch that. They don't need to know what's going on the inside. Since they want to be petty with LSU, with the air conditioning situation, which I don't know how true that really was, and, how they done us last year. But I would put them on the outside, and then they could hear a bunch of screaming and hollering, and they could cry the other orange tears back on to Texas over there. But other than that, how I always begin my call, God bless everyone, God bless this great country, and roll tide roll.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the great call from Louisiana. You imagine the band and the fans on the outside watching last year's game on a projector while listening to the oohs and ahs from the actual game taking place? Man, diabolic. All right, let's get to our next call. It's at 832. We start right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from? And by the way, thank you for being patient.
You're very welcome. My name is Mike, and I'm calling from Austin, Texas.
Mike, calling back from Austin, man. I appreciate you. We're just a couple days away from the Super Bowl over here taking place in Tuscaloosa, man. Give us an updated pulse on the water cooler talk, man. I even spun that out because it was so good. Has it intensified since we last talked?
Well, a little, but not too much. This is what gets me about college football, Kyle. How quick things can change in one weekend. So now, since Texas Longhorns didn't beat Rice 150-0, now they're having a few doubts on that they can win this Bama game or not. But don't get me wrong, they're very confident that they can compete in the game. But, I'm hearing a little more things now about Quinn Ewers' mechanics are still what they were last year and haven't improved. And how, they struggle against Rice in the first half and all this. But, man, it blows me away in college football, the greatest sport ever, how quickly things can change in 1 week. Like, for example, LSU goes from being Super Bowl champion contenders to the biggest dog in college football in 1 week, because they got beat by Florida State, and I was never sold on LSU to start with. And just the list goes on about how college football is, man. But I heard your prediction earlier when you was on the Longhorn podcast with the two Longhorn fans. That was a good show y'all put on, and it sounds like you're picking Bama to win, but I know you think it's going to be a close game.
And what I think is going to happen, I don't think Alabama's going to blow them out because, Texas is too solid of a team for that. I don't think they're going to blow them out. But I do think Alabama's going to win by 10 or 14 points. I do see Bama controlling the game, winning by 10 or 14 points, and just end up just pretty much showing who the better team is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 touchdown, 10 points or whatever. I mean, I think, I've been really surprised to hear some of the score predictions. I think I'm one of the only people that, and I'm running the show, that has had the game close. And I think it's also interesting, you bring up a good point, like how drastic the world of college football can be just after a week. For example, like Colorado now, right, in the top 25, TCU, and what they did last year, completely erased. Duke, has completely eliminated Clemson from the playoff picture. And everything that Clemson has ever done has been erased. LSU and Florida State, that game. And now Florida State and Notre Dame are title contenders. And as we've spoken about many times, I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid on those 2 teams. I'm just not going to do it. Call it disrespect or whatever. I mean, I think if we get a larger sample size or like 10 games or 11 games and they're kind of mopping the floor with people, Sam Hartman's a baller at quarterback, 100%. So is Florida State's quarterback. But, collectively, like those teams are going to slip up against, middle tier teams, in my opinion, throughout, at some point of the season. But yeah, I think like this game, I've been surprised to hear some of the score predictions, to be honest. A lot of 14-point, 2 touchdown favorites, and I think people gave Jalen Milroe more respect after that game, 100%, including Texas fans and including Vegas. I mean, it was before, I think on Sunday, it was 6.5. Now it's 7.5. Where's that line going to slide? Is it going to slide to 8.5? That would be interesting.
It would be because of Milroe.
Yes.
Again, in 1 week, Bama's quarterback room went from being total chaos so bad they had to bring in this kid from Notre Dame to now Milroe's possibly a Heisman Trophy contender going to lead Bama to the promised land.
Yeah.
In 1 week, that's how college football. That's why we love the sport, man. Just a parody in it. But here's why I think Alabama's going to handle them, man. This is why I think. Bama's the better team. I don't want to take nothing away from Longhorns. They're a good team. We all know they're a good team. But Bama's the better football team. They've recruited better. They got better players across the board on the team. And the game's in Tuscaloosa. It's a night game. And Bama ain't going to sleep on the game because they know how close it was last year.
Yes,
they're going to be ready for the Longhorns. They come. It's not like they're going to be sleeping like if Kentucky's coming in or something like that. But on a separate note, real quick, I've never been LSU. Let me tell you, last year, and I'm not being a hater, man. But last year, LSU's only accomplishment was beating Alabama in overtime and backdooring into the championship game because Bama lost to Tennessee, but the very last second of the game, I believe, and then getting exposed by Georgia. But I think LSU in their last 4 games has lost 3 of them, one of them being Texas A&M. So I've never been sold on LSU. Are they a decent team? Of course they're a decent team. Of course they got a good coach, but I do not think they're an elite team right now because all they did was beat Alabama backdoor into the SEC West. And we saw what happened after that. But anyway, it's going to be a good game this weekend. But I think Alabama's the better team. It's in Tuscaloosa. Bama ain't going to be sleeping on this one. Bama's got the best coach in history of college football. And I think Alabama's going to beat them pretty handily by 14 or 10 points. That's my prediction right there.
Good call, Austin. I appreciate you calling in, man, and you made some good points, and I appreciate you calling the week or a couple days before. All these days are running together. All I know is it's Wednesday and a couple more days closer to week 1, so I appreciate you calling in, Austin. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you. All right, fam. If I missed you inside the call queue, I'm sorry I couldn't get to you tonight. We've been going. We probably go all night talking Alabama, but first Texas. But we're going to end right there. Thank you very much for calling in tonight. I appreciate you guys' support. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Everybody's coming to Tuscaloosa, and can't wait for this weekend as Alabama takes on Texas Saturday, September 9th, 6 p.m. TV, ESPN. Alabama now favored by 7.5. I appreciate you guys watching the video. So when you see a video from Bama football, hit the thumbs up. Honestly, it goes a long way. The super chats help a tremendous amount. And if you want to become a fan funder for only $2.99, just hit the join button at the bottom of any video. Works better on desktop. And of course, Venmo tips appreciated too. Bama_YouTube. Have a fantastic evening. Get some rest. We'll be back tomorrow on Thursday. A couple more days away. And you got Alabama and Texas. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube saying goodnight.